is what we do every week, helping people out, diving a little bit deeper in that, talking about clearing, cleansing some of those things from your bodies, from your energy.
This is more my space. So Zach's more real estate space. I'm more in the energetics. And
you should listen to her because she's really freaking smart when it comes to these things.
He is like the happiest, most positive person that I know. So much so I'm like, is this real? Like, but it is.
I'm an expert in creative finance, love creative finance, talk to Face Off about that and all the wonderful things with that, mindset, and raising private capital.
I'm an energy healer. I teach intuitive development and spiritual mentor, and I help people learn about themselves and how to use their energy and the energy around them to create realities that they really enjoy and want.
Whatever comes up for you guys. That's the point. That's the beauty of you guys showing up here live for everything, is that we want to answer your questions. We want to dive deeper into your examples. We want to help you specifically. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Energetic Alignment and Mindset Podcast. I am Zach. This is my lovely fiance,
Monique.
And this is our little baby boy brewing in the oven down here. Ooh la la. Only a couple more weeks after that to go. And then
After
who
what?
knows? I don't know. After the first couple of weeks. So it's like a couple plus a couple plus a
At
couple.
this point, we're at like he could come in a month, or he could come in like a month and a half.
Yeah, or like tomorrow. I mean, I don't know. He's busting. If you watch him in there, he's busting trying to get out there. He's just like, hey, let me on that podcast. I can't wait to be with all you guys. Right? Hey there, Tammy. Happy Monday. Yeah. And did everyone have a wonderful 4th of July? Right? That's what happened since our last one. We had a wonderful 4th of July. Lots of fireworks. One of my favoriteest things in the world. Most favoritist, maybe even, if that's a thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, here we are to start your week out, right? You guys ready? Have you been having a wonderful week so far? Mm-hmm. You excited for the rest of your week and everything that you guys can make with it and all the people you can affect and all the good that you can do for all the things that you love in this world? I know I am jazzed about it. And so that's why we're here. We're just here to support you guys, give you a little insight, some little tips and tricks. We've got some good ones for you. We've been practicing. Last week, we talked about some tapping exercises and some courses that Monique was just offering. Last Wednesday was your early bird on that. So I said I was going to start doing them. Admittedly, I didn't do them every day. But when I did do them, it was an instant type of fun clearing of whatever that thing is that you're trying to achieve, or that thing that you're trying to get over, that limiting belief that you have. And what's really fun about it is that it's very customizable to you, and it's almost instant results. Yeah. I mean, it's something that you can feel right away, which is, I mean, that's
energy work.
That's what we
in
want.
General.
And yeah, what a good example of what energy work is and can be for you, and just how easy life can be more accessible to you. Whatever it is that you want in life can be more accessible. And so that's more what we're rolling into today, is some fun stuff about that. So if you want to chat with us, please comment in anything that we have. Just tape a comment, and we'd love to see that. With any questions, just to say hi, give us some love, and we're going to give you some love right back. All right. So yeah, energy is something that's, all around us, and it's often underknown and overlooked, but it's very accessible, especially when you know how to tap into it and you don't forsake the fact that it's all around us, because we are all made of energy. And so let's go and make sure that our energy is nice and happy and clear and abundant and accepting of things in this world, so that you are just primed. You're energetically aligned, as they would say, for everything that you want, so that you can attract all that you want and be all that you want to be. Because don't we all want to be all that we want to be in this world? Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a heck yeah. Mm-hmm. So love it. Awesome. Yeah. Today, what are we talking about today, honey?
Today we're going to talk about some stuff.
Let me show you. We're going to teach you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some ways to reprogram your subconscious mind.
Super cool.
And this is really, really It can be fun. It can also be frustrating, but it's really important stuff because our subconscious mind literally dictates how we operate through life and how we see life, because our subconscious mind has this area in it called the reticular activating system. And this area literally filters out reality and what we pay attention to. So this is, and I talked about this before, so I won't go into crazy detail, but this is when you start dating someone and they drive a red Mustang. You start seeing red Mustangs everywhere.
Or you see people dating everywhere.
Yeah. Or you start seeing lots of people dating. This is also why when people say like, wow, when I was single, I really wanted a relationship. So all I saw was relationships. But now that I'm in a relationship, I feel like people have that fear of freedom being lost, and all they see is single people. So it's like that part of you that kind of filters your reality for you. Hey, Carolyn.
Hey.
It filters your reality for you, and it makes it so it chooses what you focus on. That is all happening in your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is kind of this accumulation of all of the energy that you have experienced in your life up until this point. And when I say energy, I mean beliefs that have been bestowed upon you, relationships that you've exchanged with people, emotions that you felt or haven't felt. And all of that shows up in how we are operating in our reality. And a lot of us don't really realize what's going on in our subconscious mind. But if you were to say, okay, well, how do I know like what my subconscious mind believes to be true? Look at your reality. Look at your reality and see like, what are you experiencing? And ask yourself, what would someone have to believe to be true in order to be experiencing this? Like a really big belief that I've actually just recently realized I was operating under, and I was operating under this belief through the guise of like having some scarcity come up for me, because in my childhood, it was always, we don't have enough money for this. We don't have enough money for that. Like if you want it, like money doesn't grow on trees. So it was very much, and my parents were divorced. So then it was very much like arguing over who was going to buy something for the girls, for me and my sister. So to me, like my conscious mind was like, oh, you have a scarcity issue, because through this pregnancy, a lot of my subconscious beliefs have come up to be addressed before our baby gets here. And so I've been doing a lot of like abundance tapping and releasing scarcity and clearing out funky energy around money. And that's why I created my tapping series, partly because the abundance tapping I've been doing on myself, the relationship tapping, I haven't been doing relationship tapping because I already have him, but it's a compilation of beliefs that I chose to believe and that my clients have worked on, like my clients have worked on separately, but I chose to believe while we were dating and while like I was pursuing you, because you didn't really pursue me until it was a mutual persuasion. That's
a good one. I'm going to write that one down.
The body one, which I actually did the body stuff too. And I have been doing the body stuff because throughout this pregnancy, a lot of body stuff has been coming up for me as well. If you don't know, I had an eating disorder for 8 years. So like my mind has really taken my changing body and like run with it. So every morning I'm having to like reset myself with some of the tools that we're going to talk about today. And yeah, so with that tapping series, like I created it because it's stuff that I was actually doing for myself. And because my subconscious mind was like, scarcity, 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 you need to focus on scarcity. But so that was what the belief was showing up as. But just recently, I'm like, okay, what would someone I asked myself this question like yesterday, what would someone have to believe to be experiencing the reality that I'm experiencing? Mm-hmm. And when I say this, you guys, like actually ask yourself this, and your reality isn't just what's going on outside of you. It's very much what's going on within you. And for me, it was like, I was experiencing stress around talking about money with Zac. I was experiencing stress just around asking for help. messaging my midwife and telling her that I've been experiencing some anxiety. Like, he had to talk me into it because I was just coming up with every reason not to message her. And I was experiencing like all of these things. Like, my body has been so freaking sore the last week. My hips and my pelvis have been so sore. I was experiencing like hesitation, asking for support from my sister and one of my best friends who both do body work. And so when I got to it, like, the actual belief that someone would have to believe in order to be experiencing that reality is I'm a burden. And when I thought about it, like, the further I went down, it's not about scarcity. Scarcity is a byproduct of feeling like a burden and asking for money or having money. And that's just amplifying feeling like a burden, right? So if you are experiencing something in your day-to-day life, then I challenge you to get deep with it. Don't just take it at point blank face value, because your conscious mind, that's the thoughts that we actually think in our head when we're talking to ourselves. Your conscious mind is going to tell you, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. This is what you need addressed. But it's most likely doing that to protect a part of you that wants to stay hidden, or that fears being seen, or that has a lot of shame, because shame is a really heavy emotion. Like, for me, feeling like a burden, that's a heavy feeling, right? Like, if you're feeling like a burden every day of your life, that's a heavy feeling to walk through. So that part of me that's a little kid feeling like a burden, because that's the earliest that I remember this starting, that part of me is feeling scared. So using tools to address that part, then all of these fronts clear. So when we get to the subconscious root of why our reality is the way it is, of why we're experiencing what it is that we're experiencing, of why we keep coming up against the same freaking roadblocks. If you are someone and you're like, I am so sick of dealing with this, or I'm so sick of like dating the same person over and over again, I'm so sick of coming up with the same obstacles.
Feeling this way, whatever that is. Yeah,
I'm so sick of feeling this way. I'm so sick of getting to a certain point of success, and then it's like feast or famine. Or it's like everything's good and then chaos ensues, right? So look for those patterns in your life, and then ask yourself, okay, well, if this is the pattern that keeps showing up, what is it a front for? If I'm hitting it with all these angles, if I'm doing all the things and it's still here, it's still showing up, there's something underneath that. We have to get to the subconscious core of it. And that core belief probably originated when you were young. It doesn't have to be when you were young, but typically it originates when we're young, and then we create scenarios that then prove this belief to be true throughout our life. Mm-hmm. And so we want to address that, right?
And what I love about diving deep, when she'll dive deep with her clients on things, I love that when you get to that root, when you get to that one thing that's really, the seed of all of that chaos that you bring into your life, that you crave, that your subconscious just puts there, and it's you end up having that all in your life. When you get to that root and you're able to dig that out, then all of a sudden everything becomes so much easier and just so much happier and so much in alignment with things that you want in this world.
And more clear.
Clear, absolutely. It paves the way for whatever you want. It's just like a blank slate where you can start things and really start creating and manifesting your future. Mm-hmm. This last weekend, I ground 160 stumps in our backyard. But what am I doing? I'm digging out all of those stumps so that we can pave the way for just a nice, clear backyard, put a pool there, put a sand volleyball court, because she loves it, and I'm going to have to get better so I don't look like an idiot in front of my son, So I'm paving the way for something new. And it was a lot of work, but you know what? Once those stumps are gone out of there, anything is possible. But with them, you look at that and you just look at that yard and you're thinking, what the heck can be back here? It's just a whole bunch of tree roots, stumps. It's dangerous. I better not even go back there. I better not even envision something awesome back there. And that's really,
because you look at it too and you're like, gosh, it's so much work.
You can look at it like, yeah, it's so much work. There's 160 frickin' stumps. Or it's going to cost so much money, however you look at clearing that problem out. it's just a roadblock that's there. And instead of looking at these things like roadblocks, if you can look at it and start envisioning that future, that enjoyment that you're going to have there, that can really lead you towards it. And so every time I'm getting one more stump with this machine, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait, because I'm one step closer to enjoying the pool here and to get a little bit better, because I need time to get much better at sand volleyball on this. So that's what you can get in life. And that's what energy work does, is it really clears everything for you, and it just paves the way. That's why we say energy before action and everything that we do, because that way you're not looking at it like a backyard full of stumps and you're saying, yeah, but what about all these big problems? Like, I can't put, the thing for a deck there, a foundation or anything. No, there's problems everywhere. No, get rid of all of that first. You can still hold that vision of how you want your life, but get rid of all those stumps, all those things they've been growing probably since we were kids or even more. And so what a wonderful example of
even
how
before in utero.
Yeah, that it's, and see, and that's why it was growing from your parents. They have problems that they grew up with their parents. So they teach you and, train you and raise you in a certain way. And then you'll end up creating new problems from those types of issues that you have growing up that form who you are. But if we can then just clear those out, then it just makes everything possible. And then those dreams, we can really manifest them, because just a lot of times in energy work, right? You've mentioned getting to a state of neutrality is really cool, so that you're not like super high or super low. You're at a nice, calm place where things are possible. And you're like, okay, I can feel that things are possible and I know what I want. So I can just attract that right towards me at this point. So I love it. And here I am clearing 160 of them. And here we are going to show you some wonderful techniques and how to do things. How about that, Tammy? Yeah. Who knew that me doing all of those stumps was going to turn into this wonderful analogy? But that's how we have taught ourselves to live our lives, and how we teach other people to live their lives is, I took her in the backyard and I helped sketch out all these ideas of what we want to do. I'm like, let's vision this right now. She's like, why? We just want to put a pool here. I'm like, well, no, I want to make sure everything is all planned out. And that's a little bit the planner in me, but it's also, let's form that vision so you can see the tree house in the distance. You can see us playing sand volleyball here. You can see the little barbecue area where we have our friends over, and then there's a pool. So how big do we want to have the deck on that pool? And so let's plan all that together. Yeah, that's a little bit the engineer and the architect in me, but having that vision, now both of us share that vision. We draw it. We say, we know, we can feel what this is like. So now we can start to enjoy that. And now both of us can fuel the other person in getting over these hard little stumps that are in our way, these little roadblocks that might be in our way, the not feeling good. Maybe it's raining and we can't do things. Whatever life gives us, it doesn't matter, because that thing is in our future and we're going to go get it. Right? We're going to get it. We can't wait to go get that thing. And so, so sometimes though, we feel down, we feel like we can't do these things and we're not able to hold the vision. Maybe we haven't stretched our muscle enough of our brain, and we don't have that experience, that practice with all of that. So how do we get there? I'm always looking for new ways of getting there, because I'm aware that, today might be a great day. Tomorrow, who knows? Something could happen. Regardless, let me try and make it as good as possible, learn wonderful techniques, and then share those techniques with other people.
And that's something else that you can do too, is recruit other people. Like when you have a vision, when you start thinking of something that you want, find someone that's like a safe person or a safe space for you, and let them in on that vision. Let them in on what you want, because then they can see when you are subconsciously sabotaging yourself. And because just by speaking out loud and sharing what we want with other people, our subconscious starts to rewire, because we talk about it as if we're creating it right now. So then the subconscious is like, okay, I guess that you are this type of person. I guess that I am the type of person that does this thing, or I guess I am the type of person that experiences this thing. And the more that you can talk about it and the more that you feel safe talking about it, then the more your subconscious is going to get on board.
Yeah.
And anything, when it comes to behavior change, when it comes to shifting your habits, when it comes to success, love, even weight loss and health, if your subconscious is not on board, it will not happen because your subconscious will activate your nervous system. And when it doesn't feel safe, your nervous system goes into fight, flight, or freeze. And that's when we start sabotaging ourselves. And how we can bypass that is, one, identifying what is the core belief. Two, getting other people on board. And three, a way that I've really loved to do it lately, which if you watched last week, this won't be a surprise for you, but it is tapping. And tapping is, it's a great tool because, like I was talking about last week, it's energetically, I want to say, like, non-invasive. It doesn't take a lot of emotional impact on you. It doesn't take out a lot of emotional impact on you.
Yeah.
And it's like you can feel the shifts happening because what we're doing here is we're tapping on the energy points in the body that the emotion. So, okay, let me give you guys some background here. What?
I was just going to say, it's passive.
It is.
It feels very passive, where you don't have to actively think to do some things. You could just, if you've ever gone to a yoga class and you just listen to someone there, or you go through a meditation and someone guides you through that. For me, and that it's you can just listen to these things and you kind of tap them into your meridian points, your energy centers in your body, and so it becomes passive. And for me, as an overthinking type of person, it's really nice when something can bypass all of that thinking and just get right into the root of it, which is that subconscious.
And that's what needs to happen, is you have to bypass the conscious mind thinking anyways in order to get into the subconscious.
Yeah.
But when we have a belief that is ingrained within us, whether we created it or it was bestowed upon us, or when we've experienced an emotion, or we have an emotional experience and we don't fully process those emotions, the energy behind that belief, the energy behind those emotions get stored in the body. And typically, where are they going to get stored in the body? In the tissues. So they get stored in our muscles, they get stored in our tissues, and in the organs. And the organs and our muscles and our tissues, it's all the same thing. But when our organs, they vibrate at different frequencies. So then they correspond to different energetic points in the body. And so when we tap on energetic points that correspond with energy centers that then help us to clear out old stagnant energy. Not only, though, are we just tapping on random points in our body that have been studied for thousands of years. It's based off of Chinese medicine, so they're not quite random at all. But not only are we tapping on points through the body, but we are actively giving commands to shift the subconscious mind. And like Zac was saying, you're not thinking about anything typically because you're watching a video of someone doing it and then you're repeating them.
Yeah, you don't have to know this stuff to get the benefits of that.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying I'd be the guinea pig, because obviously I really don't know much about tapping other than what we've done and talked about through this. So that's why I wanted to be an impartial type of person to try it out.
And when you get to a point where you're just like tapping and you're repeating words, it's really easy for you to zone out. But when you zone out, your brainwaves shift into a more permeable state. And that is when you access the subconscious.
Super cool.
And it's really cool because things like I'm a fan of journaling, right? I love journaling. I love brain dumping and getting it all out. But sometimes with journaling, we can get in our head about like, well, what should I be writing? Or why do I feel this way? Or even when we're connecting to our emotions, it's like, well, why do I feel this way? Where is this coming from? And instead of just being with it, we start to intellectualize why we're thinking this, or why we're feeling this, or where this is coming from.
That's why it drives me insane.
Yeah. And there is a time and a place for it, though.
Yeah.
But once we understand, like, we have to shift out of that intellectualization and into the actual feeling and the actual expressing and the processing. And when you do something like tapping, or even just talking with a friend, where you can kind of get in a more hypnotic state, not hypnotic like, oh, I can hypnotize you and you won't know what's what's going on. But hypnotic, like I'm no longer thinking about my next word. I'm no longer thinking about if this is right or wrong. I'm no longer thinking about how I look right now. I'm so immersed in the present moment that I'm just being in the present moment, and I'm just sharing what's on my heart, or I'm tapping points and I'm just following along with whatever is being said. When you get to that point, you are now in direct communication with the subconscious mind. And the more that you can communicate with the subconscious mind starts to say, and you can tell it, okay, this is not a helpful belief anymore. Like, thank you, subconscious, for holding this on for me and for acquiring this to keep me safe. But now it's hindering more than helping. Then the subconscious wants to serve you. The subconscious is the silent servant. It wants to serve you. Yep. So it's like, oh, yes, master. Like, I'm sorry, master. Like, I want to serve you. I want you to live the life that you want. I want us to be safe. I want us to be taken care of. Then we get to change the meaning around what being safe and taken care of means. And this is another way that you can talk to the subconscious as well, is create meaning. Create the meaning that you want to create when you are in communication with the subconscious. Or even when you're talking to someone, then you create that meaning of just, instead of like, what does successful mean to you? If successful means a certain financial point and you're not there yet, you're going to beat yourself up until you get there. So can you change the meaning of what successful means to you so that you can feel successful now? Because we also know that the subconscious is very emotional, and a way to hijack the subconscious and to connect with it very quickly is by tapping into our emotions. And this is another thing that tapping does really well, is that because we're clearing out energy, you can literally feel the shift occurring in your body.
True.
You can feel the shift in as little as 5 minutes. You can feel that density, that heaviness, just that contraction in your body. You can feel it shift.
Tightness,
After each round, you feel it get a little lighter, a little lighter, a little lighter. And sometimes does it come back after you finish? Yeah, it does. But that's because you've done this for 10 minutes and you've had this whole subconscious thing going on for the last multiple decades. So it does take practice. And again, that's working with the subconscious. It is practice. It is repetition.
And it has to know that it's safe. And with that repetition and that intensity of that, you'll show it that it's safe. You'll program that in, that it's safe at that point. It's so wonderful. And that's why, firm believer of talk to other people, onboard other people in everything that you're doing, because you're going to hold yourself accountable. They're going to hold yourself accountable even more. That's one of my hacks for doing anything like running, right? That's one of the reasons why I was, your accountability partner, is because running is so much easier. When I was just starting running on my own, I did a little app on my phone that put it out to Facebook and said, Zach's running now. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that all my 2 followers are like watching me run right now, but they would comment back. And then I would notice that, oh my gosh, they are watching. They notice this, they see me. Even if they're not, I don't know, I'm going to hold myself accountable. It's that same thing. Just like you go to the gym, you're going to have much better success if you have an accountability person. Going. You will keep going. And that's something else. That's the majority of it. It's not that one day in the progress you get that one day. It's that consistency and the fact that you are continually working on it. Yes. So that's the beauty of all these things together. And so, so a new fun opportunity. This tapping thing is really cool. I'll tell you that. It's just really cool. It's really lightening in your chest, wherever you end up feeling tightness. For me, I end up feeling it more right here in your chest. Sometimes people feel it a little lower in their stomach. But yeah, it's wonderful being able to get more in tune with my body. My intuition is much more on fire. It's it's sensitive to things, and I'm more sensitive to it, of what's going on. So really cool benefits that you can get that I hadn't known about prior to doing any of this. And it's just like going to the gym. A lot of times, a lot of that information is known, and we just know we want to get a better body, whatever that means to us. You know, that might not mean to like someone like your sister, someone who's a physical therapist and knows everything little thing about every fiber in the body. I think we're just like Stretch Armstrong, and it's just like Play-Doh, the whole arm, you know, that's inside. Maybe I don't think that, but still, I don't know very much about that. So I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know. Right. But this is so fun because it's just this new cool benefit that you can get very quickly, and it can hone your intuition. It can get your whole body just in alignment with everything that you want. And you can get rid of some of that head clutter. Like sometimes just doing some tapping exercises to get rid of old limiting beliefs is a nice place to start before introducing some more abundant type of beliefs in there. Because just again, like we talk about, a clearing before we start really planting seeds for whatever we're trying to do.
Something else, working with the subconscious mind, you can positively affirm yourself all day long. You can talk about how great things are all day long. But if you haven't first dealt with the part of you that believes that things aren't great, that believes that life really is shit right now, that believes that they don't know if there's a way for things to get better, then that part will always win, because one, what you're ignoring and repressing just continues to grow stronger. Two, that energy has been within you for decades, because you probably learned that life works a certain way. You probably learned that you're the type of person that X, Y, and Z. You probably learned that you're worthy of these types of experiences, and that's it, at a young age. And so all of that energy is just swirling around and circulating within you, that if you're trying to just positively affirm and journal all of these great things in your journal and visualize yourself like living the life that you want to live, but you're first not addressing those core beliefs, then you're going to be disappointed. It's like going to the gym and working out, but you still are eating a pizza for breakfast, ice cream for lunch, and then like you go and you get fast food for dinner, right? It's battling with each other. And so you have to first clear the energy out and then allow the new energy to come in and replace it. You know that you're clearing energy out of your system because you feel lighter. You can literally feel it. This is what people tell me after my energy healing sessions with them, because in my energy healing sessions, I always tune into their energy field first. We do a general clearing, and then I go into each part of their body that's like, hey, I want to dress. Hey, I want to dress. Hey, focus on me. And first I clear out what's there before I introduce the new frequencies. Because if I'm just bringing in the new frequencies, I'm just piling clean clothes on dirty laundry. Yeah. Pretty soon the clean clothes are going to smell like shit because they're sitting in dirty laundry. And so you don't want to do that. You want to first empty the dirty laundry out and then put the clothes in the bin, right? And that's what we have to do. We have to address that. And as you get familiar with, and to work with your subconscious, you do not need to be some scientist, right? You just need to ask yourself some questions. Like, one, where is this coming from? Like, where did this belief come from? What's the earliest memory I have of this belief? Where do I feel it in my body? And then if I wanted to move this energy out, how would it want to be moved? You might have to do this a few times. But if you have a hard time connecting to your body, you can always just tap. If you feel it in your chest, just tap on your chest. If you feel it in your throat, tap on your collarbone. If you feel it in your stomach, tap around your belly button. But you can always just tap. Like, when in doubt, you just want to create some type of friction or some type of movement around that energy to move it out. And the more that you can do that, then you can shift the meaning that you're giving the whatever experience it was into, instead of, well, maybe this isn't meant for me. Well, what if it was? Or maybe this means that I'm not good enough. Or maybe this means there's a better opportunity coming next, right? So then we can practice shifting that until you literally become the person that believes that. And that is when things radically change.
Oh my gosh,
in
real
your
fast.
life.
Real fast. I love it.
The be, do, have method. So we're used to do, have, be. I'll do the thing to have the result, and then I'll become the person.
Right.
That's what we're used
American
to.
and culture.
But in reality,
and I want it now.
to make it feel easier and to make it more flawless and to have literally the universe or God, whatever higher power you believe in, work with you. You want to become the version of you that has the thing. And then you take action from that space, from that version of you. And then you have that thing as a result of who you are being. And who you are being is in your subconscious. So by utilizing some of these tools, you can work to shift. Yes, it does take consistent effort, but it can be in as little as 5 minutes a day.
Yeah, not even as long as getting results in the gym, everyone. Yeah. So if you want to avoid the gym, try this instead, right? And it's amazing how just clearing the mind of, I mean, honestly, honey, have you ever experienced where someone had some type of hang up, something in their past, their childhood, was trying to go and work it out in the gym when really they had to clear those things in their mind first?
Yeah.
I mean, even that was with you.
Yeah.
Right? Where you had some problems in your physical being.
Oh yeah. I felt very uncomfortable going to the gym by myself because I hadn't been to the gym since like February or March. And by then I wasn't really showing a lot. Now my belly is freaking huge. And so I was very self-conscious about going to the gym by myself. And it's funny because I created meaning that people were going to look at me and be like, whoa, what happened to her? And so I kept asking Zac to go with me, but then you were creating meaning around why I was asking you.
And you know, so it's so funny. We can see things in other people, right? We've said this so many times. We can see things in other people. We can't really see them in ourselves as much, because she says that to me, and all you guys hear that as well. And what do you think? Like, no one's going to think that of a pregnant woman at a gym working out. They're going to think they're so proud.
I know.
But yet has a completely different story about it. That's our subconscious.
Based on my past.
That's
based
our
on
subconscious.
how I've identified in the past. Yes, that's exactly your subconscious.
It's amazing.
And yeah, Carolyn, I was reading what you were saying and how
I want to put this up too, because I think that's wonderful, right?
Yeah, well, just how you said, I've just convinced myself that, I had a shit childhood, but like, I'm fine now, so let's move on. Yeah. That's what I was doing too. And that's what I had many of us do. That's what he did.
That's almost what we're taught. It's like, get over it.
Like, get over it. Like,
just get over it.
Your parents did the best they could. Move on.
Why are you hanging on that thing? Get over it already. Don't you want success?
Much more.
That's not how you get it, though. Yeah,
there's so much more, because that part of you that had that shit childhood still resides within you.
For sure.
It's still there. And
for sure,
it still feels like it's reliving that childhood every single day. And you have to be the one that comes in and tells it, we're good. We can move on. You're safe now. Mm-hmm. But so many of us are not taught how to connect to these parts of us, or the different ways that we can connect to these parts of us, because you can definitely go really deep. And in my intuitive guidance sessions, I go really deep with people, and I guide them into like these really deep and delicate parts of themselves with like my intuitive guidance sessions, my one-on-one coaching. But it doesn't always have to be so deep, because you can also connect to them through the methods that we're talking about today. But you have to connect with them. Point being, you have to connect with them, because they still feel like they're the burden. They still feel like there's something wrong with them. They still feel like they're going to get in trouble if they try something. They still are fearing an outcome of something because no one consoled them when they needed that.
Yeah.
And they are still very much alive within you.
Yeah, picture that little child wherever you are, whatever age it was. Maybe you're not a little child when something ended up happening, but picture you, right? And you're talking to you, and it's like a room of a whole bunch of yous of the different ages. And there's just, in this example, it's this little child who's just getting neglected in the corner and said, go over there, stay over there. No one wants to talk to you. You don't exist. Right? What a terrible what an experience for a child to feel. You know, Carolyn, I appreciate you sharing this. This makes me want to share my own story of, my divorce from everything, from my marriage. I want to say my first marriage, because I'm going to have a second marriage here Well, someday, whenever we decide to get married.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if I held on to that anger and that resentment and all of that pain and everything that I could have done differently, if I held on to that and just got over it, like told myself to get over it, it's just going to fester inside me. And it did. It did fester inside me, and it ended up manifesting in my business, in my health, and in so many different ways. And so once I got over it and realized, wow, I am this person I am now, and I found the path of real estate and my whole career through that experience, from that experience, well, now I can be extremely thankful and loving for that experience. You know, another thing, from my childhood, I was abused from a neighbor. Through that, you know, I actually had to learn this whole thing of I have to figure this out, because at the time, the little boy in me that was 6, 8 years old was trying to figure this out, like what's going on. And so from then, I always wanted to figure things out so that I was never put in that situation again. If I could figure things out, I wouldn't have to be in that type of situation. That's what I learned at a very young age. I need to figure this out. Guess what I became? I became an engineer who just figures things out in their life, right? Wow, never addressed that. But even just, I can say thank you because of that experience, instead of like shunning it away and saying, yeah, I don't want to have that skill. No, that's a wonderful skill. A lot of people can't figure things out as quickly as I can figure things out in life. Just renting a darn stump grinder just to grind 160 stumps this weekend. How did you use the tool? I don't know. Paid $400, asked the guy to show me how to use it for 30 seconds. Didn't really show me that much, and I just figured it out. Right. And so I can say thank you to that whole experience, and I can put a nice little bow and address that little child of me that's in the corner, as opposed to shunning him off and saying, you don't exist. I don't want to acknowledge you. I in fact, hate you. Like, how terrible is that to feel? To hate myself, that I had to go through that type of experience that's so much different than love and gratitude and acceptance and thankfulness, and be like, okay, yeah, maybe I wouldn't have chosen that path if that's how I could have chosen it. But I mean, I'm here with you now, and I'm here with all of you. So I'm extremely thankful. You know, we've figured this out. We're streaming on this thing, figured that out too, right?
And that's a perfect example too of taking an experience and shifting the identity around the experience by shifting the meaning of that experience. And a lot of us, we will forget traumatic experiences from our childhood, or we will just simply repress them. And like Carolyn was saying, like, just get over it and move on already, right? Like, it's in the past, you just got to move on. But those experiences, they shape us. They shape who we believe ourselves to be and how we believe. Oh, the deer.
They've shaped
us
believe in past tense. Oh yeah, it's right outside the window.
And how we believe the world works for us or against us. And so when you can look back and give that part of you some love and compassion, but first you have to feel those heavier emotions, right? We want to clear those out. So however you need to clear those out, like an anger release, or moving your body, tapping it out, talking with someone, you got to move it out. And then from there, you can shift the meaning of that experience, instead of like what you were saying, how when you were a child and everything happened, instead of making that abuse mean that like something's wrong with me,
right? Or
like I'm a bad person or something like that. You made it mean like, wow, I have this incredible skill now because of what happened as a byproduct of that. And we have the power to do that. And we're the only species that has the power to do this. And it's so incredible because this is how we create our reality, is we create our reality by giving meaning and emotional attachment to things from our past and our present and our future. And so if we can shift that, then we can shift how we identify with it. We're becoming that person, and then we're going to take action from that beingness, and then we're going to have what we want. And that's just going to be a byproduct, a natural byproduct of it. And yeah, it's going to take consistent effort. And yes, you're going to have days. It's just like going to the gym. You're going to have days when you're like, screw this, I don't want to do a workout. I'm just going to skip it. It doesn't matter if you skip a day. It doesn't matter if you have a bad day. It doesn't matter if you go back on your diet for one day or a couple days. Because in the scheme of years, what matters more? that you just kept going and kept continuing forward, or that you had really, really perfect days every single day for a couple months. No, it matters more that you keep showing up for yourself. You keep showing up for that version inside of you that's scared of you getting what you want because it doesn't think you're worthy, or it doesn't think you're good enough, or it feels like a burden, right?
That's nice. No, that's nice. I like it.
And so as you keep showing up for that part of you, then it lessens its grip on you. And I'm imagining like this little kid just so terrified that it's like not letting, it's just like he's holding himself in a room. You can't get into the room, and the room is where everything that you want is at. And so when you can console that inner child or inner teenager or inner young adult, and you can give it an opportunity to be heard, to be seen, to be loved, to feel valued, then it softens its grip, and you can change the meaning of what it means to feel safe, what it means to feel supported, what it means, because safety can mean you stay in your comfort zone, or safety can mean you constantly pushing yourself, right? You get to decide, but you can decide in so many ways. In a way that I've obviously really grown to love lately is tapping, because it's so easy. You can just do it every day. You can get it done in as little as 5 to 10 minutes a day, and as many times as you want. And it's another form of energy work. And I'm an energy worker, so of course I freaking love it.
Yeah.
And energy work is seriously the most powerful, because we're energetic. Our beliefs and our emotions are energy in our mind and body. We have to move the energy. And if we're not doing energy work, then we're just, quite frankly, wasting our time.
I'm telling you, everyone, energy work, I didn't know what it was before meeting her, before a year into meeting her, honestly, what it was, but it is powerful. It is awesome. It's this new level of just being able to affect yourself. We all want certain things. We all want to be a certain way, yet so many of us, myself included, you don't know how to get there. You don't know what's in your way. It's like being blind and you're dropped off in a room you've never been in, and you're asked to solve a puzzle where you have to use like a Rubik's Cube, right? When you're blind and you're in space, I don't know, everything is wrong. And it's not a Rubik's Cube. It's like a million-sided puzzle. So and you'll never get it. You'll never get it. Right? You won't. And it's without, getting access to some of these techniques, and to someone like her, it's just, you'll probably never going to get it. Right. And it's just, they end up taking the blindfold off. They let you see, you're like, oh, it's a million-sided puzzle. So then your mind is like, oh, well, I can't do that. Right. How can I do a million-sided puzzle? And then she'll say like, something where it's already solved for you. Something profound that just changes everything again, and just changes the way that you look at things. And once you look at it that way, your perception is your reality. I always talk about this, whether I'm talking to someone in business or to just a friend. So I'm going to just accept what they feel and what they're saying, how they think, because it doesn't matter. I'm not going to try and disprove them. It's their perception right now. They're feeling shitty. They're feeling that this isn't a good deal. It doesn't matter. The thing is, their perception is their reality. So yes, absolutely. Like, we just have to shift our thoughts on the reality, because when you just change that whole perception, it will change things instantly. It'll make things so much more wonderful, even if it's just 1% better instantly. Gosh, if you were to do some tapping exercise and you got 1% better, some people might say, oh, well, that kind of sucks. I wanted to get 100% better. All right. Well, what if you did it every day for a year? Holy crap, I have to do this for a whole year. No, I'm just saying, what if you did? What if you did and you got 1% better? That means you're 365% better. And if you don't do math, that's all right. I've got like 10 degrees in math. That's over 100%. No, so just understand, incremental changes can move mountains at the end of the day. And so celebrate those little wins and uncover these techniques that are so awesome and so powerful, like all the energy work that she does. She knows so many different techniques within the energy field that it's just, that's why I love personally it, just exposing people just to a little bit more of that all the time. So yeah, let's go Let's go give me some.
Hi,
Oh
Dippy.
yeah, so true. Absolutely. Hey, Zach. But yeah. Hey, we love everyone that's here. Click on everything because that's so wonderful. No, I love it, guys. I love when you guys comment. I love when you're interactive with us. You're tracking along with us. And yeah, I mean, I love seeing change in everyone around us.
And change is uncomfortable at first. So that's
Yeah.
something to keep in mind, is that typically when we make change for our betterment, it will feel like it's anything but. And it might feel very uncomfortable. It might feel like everything inside of you is just pushing against you, pushing back, because there is a threshold that you're operating within right now, a threshold called your comfort zone that you're operating in right now. And when you start to get to the edge of that comfort zone, that's when danger alarms start going off in your body, because one, your subconscious mind is like, what's going on? We don't know, like, we're not worthy of this. We're not worthy of what's going on outside of here. We know how to operate in here. And like, it works with your ego to just keep you in this space. So when you start pushing those edges, you start feeling very uncomfortable. You start feeling very, it's almost as if like you're looking for ways to cancel on yourself, right? You're looking for every excuse to not do the exercise. You're looking for every reason to fill your schedule, to stay busy.
Felt that, yeah. Active procrastinating.
Yeah. And that's
just
a
to
way
avoid
that
whatever the thing is.
Yeah. And that's just a way that we sabotage ourselves. But also know that when that pops up and you really start feeling uncomfortable, that's when we want to double down and just stay consistent. Because when we pop through that threshold, it's like, holy shit, like my life just feels completely different. What was I doing staying in this little bubble?
Yeah.
But in order to get past that threshold, you have to start giving yourself glimpses of being there now. And that includes looking for the good. Like, so I assume that all of us want to feel good. We want to feel loved. We want to feel joy. We want to have abundance. We want to have health. So what can you focus on right now that helps to promote that feeling in your body today? So get your subconscious to start getting on board of like, hey, more of this could be a good thing. It's actually safe to be here, because sometimes what's good for us does not feel safe in the body. And so we have to tell ourselves it is safe. I know at the beginning of our relationship, we had a rocky first year, because for the first 8 months, we didn't even have a title. Like, we were like, well, I guess it was before then we moved in. I think when we moved in, we were like, okay, we're boyfriend, girlfriend at this point.
Is that what you thought?
Together. Because like, I just moved in with him and we didn't really like say like, yeah, we're dating, right? And so the first year it was like us navigating our relationship and him navigating some old fears that he had come up around commitment, me navigating some stuff around pushing people away and not trusting people and not letting them in. And so even though as we grew closer and we allowed ourselves to become very vulnerable in our relationships, he tried sabotaging himself. I tried sabotaging myself, because I've never had a relationship with someone so open and honest. Like, yeah, when I would confront him with stuff, he'd be like, yeah, I fucked up. Like, what do you want to know? Like, tell me how I can help you feel better about this. Tell me how I can help you help us. And then it got to the point where everything was perfect. Like, he had worked through his commitment stuff. I'd worked through my fear stuff, and everything was great. And to my system, it felt boring. So I would look for ways to create conflict with him, and I would start arguments with him. And I would just like any chance that I got to become like bickering or to like be a little aggressive, even if it was like passive aggressive, I found myself like jumping at that, because that's what my system knew as safe. This is how you act in relationships. This is what I was modeled. And so this is what I knew is safe. And I had been in so many unhealthy / toxic relationships that's how I knew to operate in relationships. I didn't know what it was like to have a safe relationship. I didn't know what it was like to have a healthy relationship. So even though a healthy, safe relationship seemed to be what I wanted, what actually felt safe to my system was chaos, was arguments. Lola, was chaos and arguments. So that's what I created. When things started feeling, our cat is going insane right now. It's so funny. Playing with her toy. Oh, it's so
bringing
cute.
it in here.
Yeah. So that's what I would do is I would create those arguments so that I could get a rise in my system. Because in previous relationships, I would get a rise through going through their phone and seeing something, or from catching them cheating on me, right? Like I had never been in a relationship that was like 100% faithful. Or I would get a rise. The one guy that I did date that he was faithful, he would cancel plans last minute. So he was never following through. So then that would give me a rise, right? And so I found people that matched that chaos in my nervous system. And this is what we do. This is what we do on a subconscious level. We find scenarios that match what feels safe in our system. And even when we find the thing that we actually want, that's actually good for us, most of the time we end up sabotaging it because we haven't addressed the subconscious, because we haven't addressed that it's actually safe to be here. It's safe to have this. It's safe for things to feel calm and mellow, because to someone whose system has been hyperactive and is used to anger and aggression and chaos and instability, then like calm and safe is going to feel boring and like something is wrong or something is missing. And that is what the self-awareness piece comes in. And it's so important for us to be aware of this, because we have to go there in order to shift our reality. So we have to address these parts of us. We can't run from them, and know that it's going to feel uncomfortable when you get there. But through that discomfort, that's when you start consoling yourself and using tools like tapping, like energy work, like mindset work. But you can read all the books about mindset. It doesn't fucking do anything if you're not implementing it, if you're not integrating it, right? And that's also why I really like tapping, is because you're actually doing something.
Yeah, you can feel those changes right away. I liked that too, as someone who hadn't experienced that and just did in this last week. So again, if you didn't watch the last episode we did, that's where we started to talk about this. So you can check that out. That's episode 28. If you want to know all about our relationship, there were 2 episodes. That's episode 24 and 25. I'm looking on my notes up here. And just know that we do have all of these on the YouTube channel as well. If you look at any of our bio links, I think they're on mine. You can check out it on mine for sure. If not, or just go Zero to Infinity on YouTube, but they're on there. And so if you want to see the tapping exercise too, because we just have a couple minutes left, I don't know if you're going to dive into that more. That was episode 18, where we were talking about energy healing, clearing and charging your chakras. And she took us through a little tapping exercise right at the end of that. So if you're just curious, you want to see what that's like, you want to hear what it's like to be coached through that, guided through that with her, and to say, all right, what am I going to feel from tapping? Now, let me just try it out. It's free because we did it in episode 18. That's one of the reasons why we share these things with you. But these courses that she put through that are about, they're centered on 3 different aspects of life.
I'm launching courses. I'm launching like a little mini course right now.
Yeah, so they're specifically tailored for 3 different aspects of your life. You could get one if you want to dive into that, or you just want to try a little bit. You could get all 3 of them. But that's why I said last week that I was going to try it as well, because who the heck doesn't want something better in their life? I mean, in all of these, what were the 3 things?
Relationships, body and health and confidence, and abundance.
Body health and confidence.
Body health, confidence, it's kind of like grouped into one. Relationships. So leaving behind unhealthy relationships, calling in healthy relationships, feeling valued.
But like all types of relationships.
Abundance.
So yeah, who the heck wants a bad relationship? Who wants to move forward with them? We're all carrying, we just talked about lots of traumas and
you
things.
Can bundle if you want all 3 of them. So they're 7-day series. So 7-day tapping series with a nightly audio that you can listen to.
But you can use it over and over and over and over and over and over.
Use it over and over and over and over again. Like it's not something that it's just like a one and done type thing. You do them over and over and over again. And because it's always different layers and levels. of deeper stuff. And then if you want to bundle them all together, like if you're like, oh, I could use support in all of those areas, then you receive an extra video around worth, feeling good enough, calling in your desires,
Nice.
and shifting your identity to believing in yourself to have what you want. So you get an extra video around that, plus an additional audio bonus as well. And it's not extra either. Like it's just the collective cost of all three of them, but you get the bonuses.
Love it. I love new techniques for hacking my mind. As a computer guy, that's
and
one of mine. It's just let's hack our minds.
Your mind is not separate than your body.
Yeah.
It's all working in a system. So we can work on mindset all day long, but unless we're actually integrating it in the body, we're just going to fall back to where we were, or it's just going to take a lot longer.
And I love that tapping is, it's, as an overthinker, you don't have to think about it. You're literally tapping on certain parts of you and you're getting those benefits. You're repeating certain phrases and things. It's driving it into your subconscious. And then there's even weird little pattern interrupts that they do to get your mind so that your conscious mind is even off of it. Like, so even if I were to try and think about like, is this really doing to whatever, all of a sudden it's like zapped out of that so that it dives straight into your subconscious. Super freaking smart science stuff. I love science in every different way. It's, you know, the world is always learning more about everything. And so that's why we like to learn more and grow and evolve. And we love to share that with you guys. And so I love it. I absolutely love it. And so, tapping is a new fun thing that I'm enjoying. So let's do some more tapping tonight, babe.
Okay, honey.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, Deb, we will see you next week at 7. I saw your comment. Gosh, this eye is just really wanting to itch right now. So I believe that will be all for tonight. I will post the link in the comments if anyone is interested in checking that out. If you want to purchase them, you can purchase them through the week. Hey, Melinda, you can purchase them through the week, and then they will be sent out by this weekend for anyone that purchases them. And other than that, we will be back on next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Heck yeah.
If you guys ever have any topics or anything you would like us to discuss, feel free to message me or Zach and let us know. Otherwise, we'll just keep coming with things that are going
I've got a lot. We've got plenty of fun things to give you guys. So there's no shortage of that. It's just a matter of if there is something that's top of mind to you guys, that's the beautiful thing. There could be one person that ends up suggesting something to us. All of a sudden, that person gets their issue that they want addressed. You know, it could be 1 in 100. 100 people end up listening to it, yet there's just one person that speaks up. Sometimes we need that person in our life to let us know what really matters to you guys right now. And that's the thing. And that one person that's brave enough to stand up and say that, you're going to end up helping so many other people that are in your shoes. Please do not think that you're alone. I'm sure there's some story that I'll bring up, how I had some trauma that was surrounded around it, make you feel a little more comfortable so that you know that you're not alone. But please know you are not alone. None of you are alone. We're all on this journey together. We have all gone through lots of years of things together. And so let's all have an awesome week. Let's get excited and excite those around us and just uplift everyone together and go have some fun tapping on all parts of our bodies so that we can get rid of our conscious thoughts and program our subconscious. Yeehaw.
We'll
Thanks,
see you guys
everyone.
next week.
See you later. Bye.